Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the week. You know what it is. It's Taco Tuesday. You know what that means. You are now experiencing distance nerding.
Part of the Geek Freaks network of podcasts. And we're here.
And we're here to nerd together.
Nailed it for the 227th time. We're talking anything pop culture, movies, music, food, wrestling, comics, Comic Cons, whatever you're nerding out on, we want to talk about it. To jump into the next segment here, it's time to start some rumors.
Woo.
Yeah, let's go into this first story.
we really got Phil off his game there for a second. He was like,
that was good.
My brain's there. The Fantastic Four have landed, or have they? Marvel fans thought they had it all figured out after Thunderbolts ended with that jaw-dropping post-credit scene, a mysterious ship entering Earth 616's atmosphere, seemingly carrying the Fantastic Four. But Kevin Feige is here to shake things up. In a recent interview, Feige hinted that while the ship bears the Fantastic Four logo, it might not actually belong to them. This has sparked speculation that Dr. Doom could be the one aboard, potentially setting up a major multiversal conflict. Meanwhile, rumors are swirling that Doom has sinister plans for Franklin Richards, the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm. Franklin is one of the most powerful beings in Marvel lore, capable of reality manipulation, time warping, and cosmic level feats. Is Franklin Richards the key to the next phase of the MCU? Buckle up. Things are about to get fantastic. So guys, tacos on the table. What does Doom's interest in Franklin Richards mean for the Fantastic Four's arrival?
you know, okay, I'm all for Franklin Richards coming into the MCU because I think he's really important because he actually springboards a lot of stuff. But the whole Doom's gonna pop out of the Fantastic Four ship is very reminiscent of Kang to me. It really smacks of, we're just trying to like erase everybody's Kang memory. And it's like, no, I mean, if that's how you were originally gonna have Doom show up, we all know it wasn't. So I mean, I know Quantum Mania wasn't that good, but
it was okay.
You already pulled that hat trick. Let's try another one. You got like 60 years.
Yeah,
no, right. There.
So the next thing is we're gonna reveal Doom. We're gonna go to a castle at the center of the multiverse.
Although it would be really cool to see Loki and the Tony Stark version of Doom, like go all like, no, it's my castle. Like slap fight. I would love to see a slap fight between them.
That'd be great.
A slap fight like the one that me and John Wick had in Deadpool versus John Wick, like that slap fight.
Yeah. Yes. Or they go full on sumo in the little muwashi.
No, I mean, okay, sure. All right. Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay. No, I see it.
Yeah.
So my tacos are on the table. I do think that all of this is going to happen. And the whole Doom's interest in Franklin Richards, that's really interesting. Right. Franklin Richards is warping reality, but then you get Wanda coming out and she's like, "Oh no, son." Because Wanda does that too in the MCU. So that's giving her a villain or giving her an adversary that's on her level. So it's somebody that can keep her in check and she can keep them in check. So I like that balance. So my tacos are on the table for this.
My nationalistic, somewhat benevolent dictator tacos are on the table.
Dick tacos?
Dictator.
Oh, dictator
very
tacos.
Authoritarian.
Okay,
very authoritarian tacos, yeah.
Okay, so penis potato tacos. Gotcha. Okay, that's fine. My tacos are on the table. It makes sense because this gives you an excuse to kind of bring in Franklin Richards, who is a massive, like Omega level character within the Marvel universe. along with Doctor Doom, who is another Omega level character within the Marvel universe. Having both of those characters in the universe makes a lot of sense to me. So yeah, my tacos are on the table. They're going to introduce all of it. Plus, at the same time, we know that in First Steps, she's at least going to be pregnant, which means that, I mean, for the most part, it's probably going to be Franklin.
Yeah, I don't think they'd skip him.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think
I just had a brainwave. For some reason, Phil, when you start talking about subjects, I'm like, oh crap! I just had a really interesting theory, so I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
What? So here's the thing: what if the Fantastic Four do skip Franklin and go to what's her name, Valeria or whatever? I think we might get the Franklin Richards of 616, and he's already an adult. Like, he's an older Franklin Richards, and that's going to really mess with Reed because they have to stay here. And they didn't have a Franklin. So that's so in line with the weird family dynamics that they've had so far in the MCU. I mean, I kind of want this to happen, like 616 Franklin with the, Fantastic Four from, their 60s universe. And they all are stuck together. His family's dead, like long dead.
Mm-hmm.
And and then twist, you find out what happened really was his family got sucked into the thing that the other ones thought that they were in the same place. They got sucked into. And so it really is his dad. Anyway, now I'm getting really conspiracy. So I'm going to stop now.
Yeah,
Franklin, I am your father.
we are going to start getting really, really deep into this. So before we get super more deep into this, let's move on to the next story here.
And it's me. I just like to hear myself talk. Marvel's next showdown, The Bear versus The Last of Us. Who's hungry?
Me. Oh.
Marvel's casting rumors are heating up, with Bella Ramsey and Jeremy Allen White both reportedly being eyed for major roles in the MCU. Ramsey, known for her fierce performances, is rumored to be in consideration for a big Marvel role, though details on the character remain under wraps. Maybe she'll be a mummy. Meanwhile, White, who famously had a rocky first meeting with Marvel, appears to be back in the mix, with insiders claiming he's now being seriously considered for an MCU project. Talk is on the table. What kind of role fits them best? Villain, mutant, or something completely unexpected?
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are speculating that Bella Ramsey is going to be like Rogue or something like that.
I think Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, actually,
she could be Kitty Pryde. I can see that. Jeremy Allen White can be anything. So I mean, it's kind of hard.
I would prefer Kitty Pryde to like actually be played by a Jewish actor, but that's just me. So.
Yeah. Wow. I mean,
I'm just saying.
You didn't have a problem with John Locke. And he played a Jewish character.
I know. Look, I have double standards, okay?
Obviously. I'm sorry, Phil. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, Jeremy Allen White can essentially play anything. Bella Ramsey has already proven that she could probably play a villain and be really good at it.
Yeah. I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah, just because she does have a lot of heart in the way that she plays her characters, all the way like back to Game of Thrones. So, I can see Bella Ramsey kind of like playing either way, a hero or a villain. As far as Jeremy Allen White, he can play a good guy, but he can also play someone who's very indifferent.
That's true.
Which actually goes well weirdly enough, goes well for Logan.
Oh, I wouldn't mind him as Logan, actually.
I wouldn't either.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, Jeremy Allen
Huh.
White, because he's a good enough actor where he can pull off that kind of character.
Mhm.
And again, he can play kind of indifferent and a little cold, but just kind of traumatized.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Especially if you are fans of Shameless, you kind of know the kind of character he plays. If you're a fan of the Bear, you know that he can play those kind of characters. If you've seen the Claw,
Right.
especially the Claw, like he can get really deep into the weeds. So I think Jeremy Allen White, there's a lot of characters that he could kind of like lend himself to. I think he could pull off Logan, and he's kind of ripped enough to do it too.
Yeah, I could see that.
And he's not as like he's getting there, but he's not as recognizable as like maybe uh, an established movie person. So
Yeah,
he
and
could
there
really
is
make that role,
and there
and
is kind
he
of
could be
some
the face of
marketing.
it.
There is some marketing there where like, oh, did you hear the guy from the Bear is, Wolverine or whatever. Like I think that's a good. You want
And
someone
we
who's kind
could,
of in that level of notoriety.
yeah, we could do a story on it, and we could say, oh, he goes from bear to Wolverine because they're both
Oh,
animals, and so
I
one and
see.
then the other. But yeah, my tacos are on the table. I really I get a Kitty Pride feeling from
Okay,
Bella Ramsey. It's very
I
similar
can
to
see it.
things that she's already done. Kitty Pride's very outspoken. She doesn't back down. She's feisty.
I
But
no,
then
I could very
also
much see it. Yeah,
I could also see her playing with somebody else. Like I don't know about Jean Grey, but she could play a multitude on any
yeah. She
mutant. She could,
skews a lot
yeah.
younger to me, so it's.
Well, she could skew younger or older. She could, there are a lot of mutants that she could play. There are a lot of non-mutants that she could play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that I would be happy to see either of them or both of them in an MCU project, hero, villain, or unexpected roles. So
Uh
she might play Thor's niece
oh.
if they age her up a little. Like that would be a great role for her. So
Yeah.
Hot take: Bella Ramsey plays Beta Ray Bill.
that would be amazing. She's
That's
the
funny.
real Silver Surfer. Well, no, I was thinking because she could become Moondragon. Moondragon's girlfriend is Phyla-Vell, and
Oh,
they would
okay.
be an LGBTQ plus couple. Bella Ramsey is a they. Look at that.
There you go.
Oh, so
Boom.
wait, we're using they them pronouns? Is that what we're?
For Bella Ramsey, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
You guys have been saying she.
Oh,
Uh,
I was.
I apologize.
Whatever. Anyway, my tacos that are stuffed with mushrooms are on like just a little, like a really fancy little tiny plate, little tiny plate, a little like streak of some sort of sauce or something.
your
Just
Michelin
being
star
served.
tacos.
Right, my Michelin is just being served onto the table. So onto the,
Oh, okay. It's a bear
Oh my
reference. I get it.
yeah,
God.
and a Last of Us reference.
Was that a bear reference? Oh my God.
That was a bear reference and a Last of Us reference because the mushrooms.
Yeah, there you go. I see where you went.
Meow.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm on the wrong page. I'm not even gonna deal with it right now. I bet Shadu feels good about that. He's like, oh, he's not gonna do it. Yay!
Meow.
Oh God, no! You did it earlier, and I was like, maybe. We're moving on.
I lulled him into like a false sense of security there.
We're moving on.
Oh.
You could say that this next story really rocks because Clay and his name is. Never mind. DC Studios' Sergeant Rock project may not be completely dead yet. According to a new report, while the film remains on pause until 2026, insider Daniel Richtman claims it's still technically happening for now. The World War II set adventure, which was originally slated for 2025, faced budget concerns, scheduling issues, and even uncooperative British weather before being shelved. Director Luca that's not going to happen.
Guadagnino.
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 Oh,
Guadagnino.
Guadagnino.
Luca Guadagnino has since moved on to another project, leaving the film's future uncertain. Meanwhile, the Clayface movie appears to be moving forward, with cameras reportedly set to roll in September. The casting process is in full swing, with actors Jack O'Connell, Tom Blythe, George McKay, and Leo Woodall all reportedly in contention to play the shape-shifting Batman villain. Writer Mike Flanagan, who developed the pitch, has confirmed he's no longer involved in directing the film, but hopes it stays true to his original vision. With Clayface gearing up for production and Sergeant Rock still lingering in limbo, DC Studios seems to be keeping its options open as it builds out the next chapter of the DCU. So, tacos on the table, should Sergeant Rock get a second chance, or is Clayface the more exciting project? Thoughts, people?
So my tacos are on the table for both of these, and it's mainly just because I know Clayface kind of picked up a lot of steam probably a couple months ago, where people got excited for what it could be and where they're going to go with it. It seems like the studio is really, really like pushing forward on Clayface, which means they probably have a really good treatment for it. So I'm kind of excited to see what they do with that. Sergeant Rock seems like more like one of those James Gunn pet projects where he's like, I don't want to let this one go.
Yeah.
Regardless of where the direction of the entire universe is going, because it is also something that takes place in the past. So it's not like something that is it's not one of those projects that has to happen right now. It can happen eventually. But take his time on that and kind of keep it in the rafters. So I'm
Well,
sure
and oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say it's definitely something that James Gunn is gonna keep around, whether it happens right now or it happens like a couple years down the road. I think Sergeant Rock is eventually gonna end up happening, especially that the character did show up in Creature Commando, so he did lay that groundwork already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the Sergeant Rock is kind of evergreen, and that it builds the bricks of the universe he's trying to create. Like, it's a story set in the past of this universe, so it gives it a history. So I definitely think he's going to keep it. But yeah, it may be on the back burner as far as like immediate projects. And then yeah, I'm all for the Clayface movie, and I hope it's like a horror, like Universal Monsters type of movie. I think that would be amazing, and it sounds like that's where they were going with it, especially since Mike Flanagan was involved. So I'm hoping that that they stay with that motif and kind of get it, because I would love that to be it. He's so meant to be a Universal monster like type of character if he's going to have his own movie. Scarecrow as well. He should also be Universal. He should get that Universal Monsters treatment, because they're supposed to be terrifying. All of the characters are supposed to have root in some sort of human fear.
Mm-hmm.
Fear of poison, fear of clowns. You've got fear of not being able to solve riddles. I mean, they're all fears.
Fear of his voice.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, like, it's true. You've got
the
Scarecrow.
laugh is even creepier.
Oh yeah, it is. Scarecrow is like fear of scarecrows and just fear itself. And then you've got Clayface, and he's fear of monsters. So is Killer Croc. I mean, like fear of what's in the sewer. It's that kind of stuff. Those are all human fears. So I think that it's genius, and I hope it works out, and I hope it's amazing, and we start seeing more of that, and see maybe a horror take of the Batman villains. That would be amazing. All right, and I'm done. Tacos are on the table.
Great.
Yep.
My shape-shifting now they're just now it's a burrito. Okay, now it's back to a taco, so it's on the table.
See what
Clayface.
you did there.
Taco?
Yeah. Clayface joke? Okay.
Yeah.
I see exactly what you did there. Fine. So guys, I'm gonna try some material on you here. Are you guys ready for this?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Superman, Crypto, and Supergirl walk into a flashback. That's all I got. I don't have a payoff for it at all.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll definitely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna workshop.
Let's workshop.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
absolutely. Millie Alcock's Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, might feature a cameo from David Cornsweet's Superman, according to a new rumor. The scene reportedly shows Kara's arrival on Earth, emerging from her ship alongside Crypto the Superdog, with Superman greeting her warmly. Interesting. This flashback would tie into Gunn's Superman, where Clark is said to be looking after Crypto for Kara. James Gunn has emphasized that this version of Supergirl will be much more hardcore, shaped by years of survival on a broken Krypton before arriving on Earth. The film is set to release on June 26th of 2026. Will also feature Jason Momoa as Lobo, David Krumholtz and Emily Beecham as Kara's parents, and Matthias Schoenaerts as the villainous Krem of the Yellow Hills. With production underway, fans are eager to see Alcock's full Supergirl reveal. Not Superman, stronger than Superman. Supergirl reveal. Tacos on the table. What do you think? Does this cameo make sense for the story?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, they're connected.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, she's going to be in Superman. He's going to return the favor. It's going to happen.
Right.
I was convinced that the big cameo before I read the story, read the actual story, was that it was going to be Crypto. Because I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. Crypto is definitely going to be in it. Crypto needs to be in every freaking movie going forward. So yeah, I was like, oh yeah, totally. And then it was like, oh, it's going to be Superman. I was like, well, duh.
Okay, sure. I mean, yeah, it's obvious. It's like, all right, cool.
So, and it being a flashback, I love that. I love that they're going to do that. So you kind of see what Kara was like when she first she just pops out of the spaceship. So I think that's kind of a neat thing.
Right.
I think it'll make us curious as to what happened in between.
Right.
And that's what you want in a movie and a character. So
yeah.
Absolutely. No, I agree. That's definitely something that, again, my tacos are on the table. It's one of those things that keeps the universe interconnected. You kind of get that tease in one movie and it kind of goes into the next one. It's one of those things that just it gives you that larger world building narrative that James Gunn is already so good at doing. So I'm very excited to kind of get that and see more of that and those kind of things. And I'm sure we're gonna get those kind of things in Peacemaker. We're gonna get those kind of things in Superman leading into Supergirl. And it's gonna be great. So I'm very excited for all that.
Yes, my tacos that represent hope are on the table.
Tacos that represent hope. All right, so
it's not a T. It's not a T. It's hope.
It's not a T. So let's go ahead and move on to the next story here, guys.
All right. Oh, always two there are. Lucasfilm is reportedly preparing for a leadership shift, with Kathleen Kennedy's tenure winding down and Dave Filoni and Carrie Beck being eyed as potential successors. Filoni, a George Lucas protege, has been a driving force behind the Clone Wars, Rebels, The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and pretty much everything Star Wars that we've seen in the last few years. His deep connection to Star Wars mythology has earned him a loyal following, but some insiders worry he might lean too heavily into lore, potentially alienating broader audiences. Beck, who has been with Lucasfilm since 2012, is well versed in the studio's operations, but, like Filoni, lacks extensive film experience. Kennedy may remain involved as a producer to ensure a smooth transition. Fans are already debating whether Filoni's mythology-heavy approach is the right fit, or if Lucasfilm needs a fresh perspective. With Star Wars at a crossroads, the next era of the franchise is about to take shape. So, tacos on the table. Should Filoni and Beck take the reins, or does Lucasfilm need a different direction?
So, I'm going to start with this.
Please.
All of the executives who are trying to are they going to make good movies? Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. That is probably the most angry thing you've heard me say, like in that way.
No. I love it. You didn't pass it. It's good.
It pisses me off that these executives are like, well, no, you need to make films that it's going to alienate new viewers. It's not. The thing is that there is a combination of the way that Filoni does these things where it makes it open for new audiences to come in. Now, I get they're probably afraid because Ahsoka was kind of in lore and really played off as another season of one of the animated shows.
Still my second favorite Star Wars series.
But I mean, rather than being its own thing, but at the same time, it's not one of those things you can walk into and just be like, oh, I'm completely lost. Yes, it is bringing in new characters, but they also reintroduce those characters. And it's one of those things where it's more like, these characters are interesting. I want to learn more. You go back and watch Rebels, or it's those kind of things. The way that Filoni does his storytelling is they are fairly self-contained stories as far as the stories themselves, but there are references within other places that make you want to dive deeper into Star Wars.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like the great thing about Filoni is it's a gateway. It is a gateway into the rest of lore and the rest of whatever. And again, from just a pure capitalist perspective or pure, marketing perspective, you want people to be in the lore.
Right.
Because then they're going to buy more shit from you. They're going to, subscribe to Disney Plus for longer. They're going to buy comics. They're going to, buy the movies on DVD or something. I don't know. I don't, whatever. Anyway. That's what I'm saying.
The two things that piss me off the most are executives who are so disconnected from not only the fans, but just these genres in general to a point where all they care about is money. And it's like, what's going to make you the most money? Make a good fucking film. Right? The other thing is gatekeepers, which this kind of is like Hollywood gatekeeping, but gatekeepers is the other thing that pisses me off because exactly what we're talking about. How are you supposed to be a fan if you tell people you can't be a fan if you didn't watch Star Wars during this, or if you didn't watch it this way, or if you didn't read it,
that's
you don't
stupid.
like this.
Yeah.
Like, no, shut up. Like,
as a fan, you should want the most amount of people to be into this.
Right.
However they're introduced to it.
Exactly. So just jumping on, tacos being on the table, I 100% believe in Filoni. I believe in Beck. They know how to put these films onto a point where it is something that continues on everybody who loves Star Wars. It continues on that love for Star Wars, at the same time inviting more people into Star Wars. I don't think that they need to go into a more closed off direction where it's like, okay, well, we're just going to make these movies and we want to make money. Like, no, if you want to make money, do these films for the fans, and not just fan service. Like, fan service is one thing, but like make it something that the fans will enjoy.
No one gave a shit about Andor until people were like, oh no, it's really good. It got more people. This is what I'm saying. You can do this. It's not, make something good.
Right.
And Andor wouldn't have been made without the Mandalorian success.
Exactly.
And Filoni was really instrumental in that.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, my tacos that contain the spirit of a dead Jedi are on the table.
Sometimes I really worry about you.
We all do.
I really sometimes. No, my tacos are on the table. I think that they do. I think they'll do a good job. I think splitting. There's like the role is probably for the best because it has become a much bigger role since it was just since Kathleen Kennedy took over, really. So they may need more eyes and arms, and I think co-leading is really in right now because of the whole James Gunn, Peter Safran thing.
Right. And I hope
it reminds me of that.
Yeah. I hope that kind of we have Filoni on one side doing a lot of the creative stuff, whereas Carrie Beck is handling more of the business stuff. I think that would be good. So again, they can kind of play to their strengths somewhat.
Absolutely.
All right.
Anyway.
So that is it for rumors, ladies and gentlemen. So it is now time to move on to our next segment on the show. It's time for the download.
I could hear that. I don't know what happened.
No, I changed some of the stuff on the back end, so hopefully
Okay, good.
That fixed everything.
Let me see.
Well, with that all being said, and now that we know everything that's going on, ladies and gentlemen, for more news, trailers, reactions, check out the Distance Nerdings in Post. Let us know what you're nerding out on. Of course, you can hit us up on Discord and all the places. Just tell us what you guys want to talk about, and we will make sure we bring up topics in regard to those things. We're actually already doing that in this episode. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to this first story here. Well, actually, not first story. Sorry, Jen. We are moving on. Well, because we haven't done it in like 2 weeks, so we're bringing back a segment because Jen's been gone for 2 weeks and we haven't been able to do the segment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to take a stroll down the lane of actors and actresses and everything happening. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we're jumping into the casting cachet with Jen.
Hello, everyone. Let's cast a spell on these actors' upcoming roles. Walton Goggins is. You just need to apologize to Walton. Walton Goggins is trading in a cowboy hat for a wardrobe right out of Ben Mendelsohn's dreams. The man with more Southern charm than a glass of sweet tea might just be stepping into the dictator's boots for Legendary's live-action Street Fighter movie. And honestly, that mix of smooth-talking charisma and unhinged menace could make for one of the most memorable M. Bisons we've ever seen. Imagine him delivering those iconic lines with that signature smirk. This could be something special. M. Bison with Southern charm, suddenly world domination is sounding kind of tempting.
It's interesting with that. I do like the idea of Walton Goggins playing M. Bison. The only thing I have with that is there is a high bar. Considering that the best on-screen M. Bison was played by an amazing actor in a terrible movie. As much as everybody's going to sit there and say like, oh, but I have good memories. Yeah, we do. There are good memories of this movie. It's still not a good movie. So, I mean, the old Street Fighter movie from the 90s, Raul Julia, like he killed that role, given it was his last role. But I mean, he has one of the best lines in existence in a movie that was just so blasé, you know. But I mean, like, you know, the worst day you ever had in your life was the day M. Bison came to your village. To me, it was another Tuesday. You know, like that is one of the most diabolically well delivered lines in any movie. And it was M. Bison in the shitty Street Fighter movie. But I mean, like, but it was Walton Goggins is going to have a high bar to pass if he wants to do or just at least meet to get to the level that Raul Julia put on to play M. Bison in that movie. So,
right. No, I agree, but I think I like that they're not just like going, oh, well, let's get somebody kind of like who he had before,
right?
And so they're going in a different direction. And come on, you're telling me that you wouldn't fall for Walton Goggins' Southern accent?
The thing is that we don't.
What?
I kind of don't want M. Bison to be charming. I don't want him to be somebody likable. M. Bison is Iron Fist, destroy the world by any means. He is the diabolical, you know, just he is that dictator, that like the cliche dictator.
He puts the dick in dictator.
He kind of does. So I don't want to lean too heavy on this because I know you got more casting to talk about. So
we have so much more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. HBO's Harry Potter series is filling up fast. Wingardium Castiosa
Nice.
Here's who's stepping into some of Hogwarts' most iconic roles. They cast Lox Pratt as Draco Malfoy. He's in the picture.
Yeah.
There. He looks like a little shit. Lucius Malfoy is Johnny Flynn. Now, I know who he is, but no one else will, because I watch way too much British stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in he's been in like a lot of British stuff. Just trust me, he's gonna be really good at it. Molly Weasley is Catherine Parkinson. She played Jen from the IT crowd. I think she's gonna be amazing. Seamus Finnegan is gonna be Leo Early is playing Seamus Finnegan. You know, Seamus the.
Yeah.
Oh, Seamus. Okay, and Alicia Leonie is going to play Parvati Patel. Sienna Musa is Lavender Brown. Bertie Carvel is going to be Cornelius Fudge. Now he's the Minister of Magic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I mean, like, that's a lot of people. They're really going hardcore on this casting. So with this lineup, Hogwarts is filling up fast. Now the real question is, how many of these characters will be getting their own dramatic TikTok edits before the series even starts?
The only thing I'm wondering here is, like, so in the picture that's on screen, the Dursleys are there, and I don't feel like did they? No, they did. They didn't announce who was playing the Dursleys in this.
No, they did. I don't think it mentioned. I don't think where I was getting my sources. I don't think it mentioned them, but they actually did. Let me see if I can find who they are real quick.
Because, like I said, the picture has the Dursleys in it, and it's like, oh, that's gonna be interesting because I definitely want to see who plays Petunia.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, hold on here. Top stories. Here we go. See, it is. Damn it, Dodd, for writing so well that you're bearing the lead. Okay. Belle Powley and Daniel Rigby.
Okay.
So with the real red lips, that's Belle Powley, and Daniel Rigby is the one next to her.
Okay.
So.
I mean, they look like younger versions of the Dursleys, which is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
We lost every.
Oh, whoops.
I don't either.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't either. That's fun times. Huh. Okay. Woohoo!
I wasn't even on the page. I just heard everybody go silent.
Huh.
Anyways, let's continue.
But I just think that I think it's coming together. I'm actually really excited about this. I'm just I really do not like J.K. Rowling at all.
Nope, me either.
Shrivel up and die now because she's given us the Harry Potter stuff, so fuck off. But I really want to see the show. I'm really interested in it, and especially after watching the Bonnie Wright interview, I'm like, I'm so much more excited about it now. So yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Well, let's.
Nobody else has any other. Like, I stunned you.
No.
I'm conflicted about watching it. So
I'm not. I'm open to newer versions and kind of like doing the long form storytelling. I'm actually interested in seeing all the things that were in the books that was not in the movies because they spent more time. It's the same thing that Bonnie was saying, is that she'd be way more interested in watching the shows because there's so much more you can do with the show than you can do with the movies.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully it doesn't go the way of Wheel of Time, though. Those bastards. Okay. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about next. So the Underworld just got a new queen. Mia Goth is set to co-star alongside Ryan Gosling in Star Wars Starfighter, the new standalone film from director Sean Levy. Details of her role are, of course, under wraps, but rumors suggest she'll be playing the film's villain, facing off against Gosling's character. Set 5 years after The Rise of Skywalker, the movie introduces an entirely new cast of characters and is slated for May 28th, 2027. So that's pretty interesting.
No, it
Cool.
is.
Pretty interesting.
Mia Goth is more famous for like horror films and kind of like some of the stuff she's been in has been pretty hardcore. So I mean, it's gonna be.
I want her to be a Twi'lek.
It's gonna be
That would
kind
be
of cool
good.
to see her kind of in like something that is not as, I mean, intense in another way, but not as intense as some of the movies she's been in.
Yeah, she might be playing a kind of horror adjacent villain to some degree.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
I'm saying I want her to be a Twi'lek.
Okay.
Vinny City is
He's
saying,
got that look.
Darth
Go
Talon.
ahead. Maybe.
just commenting on this, Vinny City just commented, wait, there's a Harry Potter show upcoming. Yes, there is. They are currently casting for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've got like almost everybody.
Right.
At least for the first book.
I
Yeah.
want to say last week we talked about the casting of the main cast, so or 2
Yeah.
weeks ago.
They were cute. They were so cute. Yeah, and it was a Jep nerdy question
That's
that
right.
none of us got right.
No.
Let's
right.
continue on here.
Even dead, I'm the hero. Just maybe not the one you need. Emily Hampshire will embody E.D.I.T.H in the upcoming Vision series for Disney+. Hampshire's casting suggests a bold new direction for E.D.I.T.H, possibly evolving beyond its AI roots into something much more tangible. With Hampshire's sharp wit and dramatic chops, E.D.I.T H might just prove that even in human form, she's still Stark's ultimate failsafe.
Ooh.
So, I mean,
I mean, she's
I
got
think
the
it's going to
look.
be cool.
Like,
yeah,
again,
I
she
definitely
has the
think
look
she's got the
down.
look. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's kind of
I-
got
it-
like this badass-is to her.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's see it.
Well,
He's
no.
almost got
So,
a Maria Hill to her a little bit. So I think it's
yeah, in
good.
that picture.
Well, a little bit.
No, I think it's a
Yeah,
great.
I think more Maria Hill attitude, more so
That's
than
that's
like
kind of
looking
like
Maria Hill.
energy
Yeah,
more than yeah.
yeah, she's giving off Maria Hill energy.
Yeah. So
It just
Cool. No, I'm in.
lends credence. It lends credence to my theory that it starts in Vision's head, and then it comes out because Edith is a Stark thing,
Right.
and so is Ultron, and Vision was as well. So if he's trying to go back to his roots to find out who he is, this is absolutely the way that he would do that. And then also, if they're in his head and he can make them bodies, then by the end of the thing, they're not going to be in his head anymore. And that's going to be terrifying.
Yep.
So
Right. All right.
I'm
Very
done.
cool. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like,
Sorry.
I'm done. Oh, that Southern drawl has me in its thrall. Oh, and we have merch, people.
We got merch, people. That's really what I was waiting on. Like, we've got it like there on there. So guys, let's jump into the rest of the stories here. Marvel said surprise, but are we? The Thunderbolts twist that the team is actually the new Avengers was supposed to be a big reveal near the end of the film, but just days after opening weekend, Marvel flipped the switch and rebranded the movie in its marketing, leaving fans who hadn't seen it yet feeling spoiled in the worst kind of way. Disney's SVP of marketing, Ryan Stankiewicz, yeah, that's fitting, defended the move, saying that discourse is part of the Marvel fan experience and that many fans actually found the marketing clever. Of course, the ones who already saw the movie were probably the ones who thought it was clever because they weren't the ones getting spoiled. So, the reveal happens when Julia Louis-Dreyfus, her Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, in full PR spin mode, brands her ragtag team as the new Avengers after the Lewis Pullman Sentry situation goes off the rails. Then, in the post-credit scene, Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson, is seen assembling his own real Avengers team, and he's not thrilled about the branding hijack. Marvel's marketing machine has always been a force to be reckoned with, but this time it might have been a little too efficient. Fans hoping for the surprise in the theater got a reminder that in the MCU, nothing stays secret for long. How long before Marvel just drops post-credit scenes details in the trailer so fans don't have to wait?
I have not seen this, so spoilers.
Spoilers. I haven't watched the #1 movie in the fucking world. Come on, man.
What? We had a car crash. Look.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff kind of happened.
Okay.
I'll
I'll give you that.
But it's okay.
No, I feel like if they had just gone New Avengers the whole time, or Dark Avengers or whatever, just put Avengers in there. You're gonna get asses in seats.
Yeah, true.
More than Thunderbolts.
true.
I'm just saying, more than Thunderbolts. It's like, just put Avengers in there. That's what people want to see. Like, oh, Avengers, oh, whatever, whatever. Just, anyway.
Just like Sandra Betty in the chat, just add it to Shadoo's list.
Yeah.
Of like the 1,000 movies he still hasn't watched.
It's growing every day.
Day by day. Oh,
all right. Well, let's not bad. Let's move on here.
grab your tickets, your popcorn, and a bucket so big it could devour worlds. Fantastic Four's first step has blasted past the competition in pre-sales, proving that audiences are ready to embrace the power of Marvel's first family. It's outselling Mission Impossible and Minecraft, which means Tom Cruise might need to do an actual space stunt to compete next time.
Oh, just you
And
wait.
He's gonna do it.
right,
Yeah.
He's literally
test
gonna
it.
jump. He's literally gonna jump out of like
Fucking shuttle.
out of a shuttle. Exactly. I was.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
going
do
for
it.
one of
I'm
fucking
gonna do it.
Elon
That's right. I'm gonna do it.
Musk airplanes, whatever.
Well, he'll be closer to his.
And the Galactus.
Close to Xenu.
I'm gonna choke him
Oh
along.
my god.
Sorry. Continue, Frank.
Okay, no, put that down. That's going to be your joke
I am right
for the end of the show. Do it right now. And the Galactus popcorn bucket. It's absurdly enormous. Marvel basically said, what if your popcorn container looked like it could consume an entire planet? At 17.5 inches tall
Good
and
God.
20 inches wide.
Good
This
God.
thing is 20 inches wide, almost 2 feet. It's
It's a
not
two-
so much a snack holder as it's a new roommate. You don't
can't
just
wait to
carry
eat
this
popcorn.
thing, right? You just don't carry this thing into the theater. You commit to it.
Man. Yeah.
AMC's Herbie snack vessel is perfect for those who want their popcorn guarded by a sassy little robot,
It's good.
while Regal Cinema's Fantasticar bucket lets you eat from the same vehicle that Reed Richards insists is totally aerodynamic, even though we all know it's just a Marvel branded minivan.
And it's also totally not compensating for something.
Are you prepared to snack like a cosmic entity, or will you need to train your arms before attempting to carry this planet-sized bucket into the theater?
I love
I'm ready.
popcorn. Like, popcorn is one of my favorite things. This is too much.
No,
This is too much.
I'm ready
I
for
want
this.
one.
I'm ready for this. I'm
I want
100%
one.
ready for this. Yeah. I don't normally buy these things, but I mean, if it's that big and all it's meant for is for me to put popcorn in it, yes, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
It's probably going to cost like $200.
I have
Oh, I'm
never
sure.
wanted one. I've never wanted one. Now I'll eat my words because I will want the Wonder
Literally.
Woman one. But I have never wanted a popcorn bucket, and I am like, I really want this freaking popcorn bucket. I want to see the girth of this thing.
the
Jen
So
wants
I'm
to
like,
concur.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're moving on.
He's like, no, you are not allowed to make these jokes. She's my mom.
Now we know we're crypto spend. James Gunn is shutting down the runtime rumors surrounding Superman. The director confirmed that the film is 2 hours and 9 minutes long, including credits and post-credit scenes, and made it clear that Warner Brothers has zero influence over the runtime because DC Studios handles its own productions. So if anyone was worried about WB trimming it down, Gunn's saying, not a chance. Meanwhile, for the Fortress of Solitude, a surprising new details emerged about the abominable snowman roaming its icy outskirts. A children's tie-in book revealed these creatures aren't just a single monster encounter, they're actually a whole tribe just living around Superman's frozen sanctuary. Even better, Crypto loves to chase them, which raises some truly weird but fantastic questions. Are they terrified? Do they fight back? Is there an annual Superdog vs. Snowman showdown at the Fortress? James Gunn's DCU is leaning fully into the sci-fi weirdness, and this deep-cut lore fits right in. Could these snowmen be descendants of Superman's old intergalactic zoo? Now that's a mystery worth exploring. Are we ready for Superman to embrace its full comic book absurdity?
I kind of am, and I feel like there's going to be a point where they're just going to show Crypto go outside and come back with like a snowman leg. And the snowman's just going to hop and like, can I get that back?
Oh. So does this mean that Bumble is DCU canon?
It probably will be.
Thank you for getting that joke. Frey was doubtful that you would get that joke.
That's good. That's good.
That was originally the tagline, but she was like, no, it's too obscure.
It is very obscure.
It's very obscure.
I like it. I like it. Oh man. Let's move on.
But no, I am ready for the Yeti.
Absolutely.
Frey?
You're full of it tonight.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I know Jen's gonna be excited about this, so let's move into the
I
next
am. I actually was so excited, I got the hiccups for a second.
Yeah, she messaged us earlier and was like super excited about it.
Yeah.
I may have cursed and then demanded more screaming. So figure that out. She is beauty, she is grace, and she has a lasso.
Woo!
James Gunn has confirmed that Wonder Woman is officially getting her own standalone film in the rebooted DC universe. While details are still scarce, Gunn revealed that the movie is currently being written separate from Paradise Lost, the HBO Max series exploring Themyscira's mythology. There's no director or star attached yet, and Gunn hasn't confirmed if he's writing it himself, but he has hinted at working on a secret DCU script, which makes this timing interesting. This announcement reinforces Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav's statement that Superman, Batman, Supergirl, and Wonder Woman are the 4 foundational pillars of the new DCU. Gunn echoed that sentiment, saying he feels great about where Superman and Supergirl are positioned, while Batman and Wonder Woman are still being developed.
I'm Batman.
With Superman arriving soon and Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, wrapping filming, DC Studios is locking in its core heroes. Wonder Woman's return is now officially in motion, and the DCU's Trinity is slowly taking shape.
Ooh.
Diana is back, but seriously, is anyone more excited about this than me?
No.
Seriously?
No, no one is.
Can you believe I got through that whole story without screaming?
So, not that I'm not excited about this, but
Here
I'm
we
not
go.
more excited about it than you are.
Right, yeah. No, I'm also excited about this, but again, I'm mostly excited about it because of you.
What I'm interested in is who are they going to recast?
Mm-hmm.
So, who plays Wonder Woman? You know,
That's going to set the tone for the whole film, is who plays Wonder Woman. I mean, she's the one.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, do they are they as good or better than
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
think
so-
it would need to be different, obviously. I
Right,
mean,
absolutely.
she's still going to be wearing the same outfit. She's
Or
still going to be wearing
similar
the same outfit.
Okay.
But sorry.
Yes,
I wasn't saying it as a question. I was a statement. No, but I was looking at some of the actresses, not to objectify them. I apologize. I'm not trying to objectify anyone except Chris Evans. But
Right, of course. Only if it's consensual.
I there's one actress who I guess she plays Talon in a TV series, Overlord or something. Anyway, her name's Jessica Green, and she really looks like a traditional Wonder Woman. She's got the blue eyes, she's got the dark hair, she's statuesque, she's tall. So I kind of like her, but I also like Audra, Adriani.
The woman who played Bix.
Yes, Bix. I love her as well. Like as far as like she's got a very Wonder Woman vibe about her, and she is also statuesque, and yeah. So I think those two would be it.
Jessica Green has that look. I do think it is that almost. There is kind of a like. Again, I don't mean this in an objectifying. There is like a Greek statue kind of vibe, which I think is good for Diana.
Yeah.
So, absolutely, I agree.
If they go with the clay,
right,
origin.
Exactly. It is the whole, beautiful as Aphrodite, wise as Athena. So
yeah,
I kind of hope that they go with the same origin that they went with in Snyder's universe. I like the idea of mashing the two origins of Wonder Woman and mashing it together. So like the story she was told growing up was that Zeus breathed life into the clay, but in reality she's the daughter of Zeus.
Yeah,
I like the idea of her actually being a demigod. I kind of feel like it lends more to her character for her to actually be a demigod than for her to just be clay.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do think that I liked it. I liked the changes that they made to the origin, so I do kind of hope that they stick kind of with that.
Right.
There have been so many rewrites of her origin, so they've got a lot to choose from. But no, I'm really excited about this. I was super excited when I saw it. I was like, we're reporting on it.
Yeah.
And
she texted us this morning and was like, they're doing the Wonder Woman movie. I'm writing the story right now. I'm like,
so I was like, okay, I definitely want, I want to do this. And so I'm really excited about it. I do think that they will find the right actress to do it, and it may be somebody that's not on anybody's like radar right now. So we don't even know. Hardly anybody knew who David Corn Sweat was, and he's Superman now. So I think that's where James Gunn is going with this, trying to get fresh faces that may not have a lot of acting experience, or do, but just not a lot of successful acting experience. And I think that may be the way he goes. So hopefully we'll see soon, and we'll get more from this. And James Gunn is writing the Wonder Woman movie, because I think he would do a pretty bang up job on that.
Right.
Or Greta Gerwig. Those are my two choices. So there we go.
Great.
It'd be interesting to see Greta Gerwig doing an action scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she got a lot of practice with Barbie.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but I mean, like there weren't like hand-to-hand combat action scenes. There were a lot of like fast-paced scenes, and there were a lot of like kind of more like musical-esque scenes, but there weren't really like action fight scenes.
Well,
I mean, like, what do you call Battle of the Beach?
Yeah, no, that was more like a dance battle.
That's what I was saying. But I was saying choreography. It's the same. Called the same thing.
I'm saying like that's why I say it'll be interesting, because like she knows how to direct like those kind of choreography scenes and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to see if she can dictate beats on fight scenes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would be interesting because obviously she would hire a fight choreographer and like a whole fight team, so they would probably come up with the fights, and she would just have to know how to frame them so that she got the best out of it. I just think it would be interesting to have another female director
will say
because,
we should move on. This is the quick bites.
Oh yeah, sorry. We got
okay.
lost. We got lost in the weeds.
It's okay. So
Why
let's
am
go
I
ahead.
the one keeping us on track? Hold on.
Yeah, no. So let's go ahead and continue on here, guys. This is some news that again I've been kind of following a little bit closely. So now the Predator knows how it feels to be in every horror movie ever. Predator Badlands is flipping the franchise on its head. This time, the hunter is the hunted. Instead of following humans trying to survive, the story centers on Deck. I've never been able to say their race's name. Yautja, right?
Yautja
Yeah, I
or
think
Yautja?
that's
Yeah, I want to say it's a Yautja outcast, who's on the run from his own kind. Director Dan Trachtenberg describes the film as an inversion of the usual Predator formula, where Deck must prove himself while being relentlessly pursued. Deck, played by Demetrius Schuster Matanagi?
yeah.
Korla
You guys,
Matanagi?
I think you. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Koloa Matanagi. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go with it.
Yeah, teams up with Ty, synthetic android played by Elle Fanning, who appears to be a creation of Weyland-Yutani, linking the film to the Alien universe. Together, they set out to find a ultimate adversary, all while the Predators hunt Deck down like prey. Trachtenberg, who previously directed Prey and Predator Killer of Killers, is breaking new ground with Badlands. The film is set to be on a remote planet and explores Predator culture, complete with fully developed Predator language created by the linguist behind Avatar's Na'vi. With a November 7th, 2025 release date, Badlands is shaping up to be a bold new direction for the franchise. Are you guys, because I'm excited for this, are you guys excited to see a Predator fight for survival instead of being the unstoppable force?
Sounds cool.
Sounds cool.
Yeah,
That's it. Okay, I'm excited.
I knew that would be.
Where I'm excited about this is not only are you getting kind of the inverse, you're getting that Predator kind of being hunted because they're supposed to be the ultimate predators in the universe. So to see one that's kind of on the defense is very different, right? Even when in all the movies, when the hunted is reversing the table on the predator, they usually are still kind of like dominant. They're still the ones that are in control, and then the last minute thing happens and they just nuke whatever's happening, right? So it's like,
right,
it's you've never seen a situation where you have a predator that doesn't have all the weaponry, doesn't have all the things that it normally has in any of these movies, and is being hunted by other predators. It's such a good kind of idea. The other thing that excites me about this is we have never heard their spoken language. Right?
Oh, we haven't.
I'm
I
always
forgot
excited
all about
conlings,
that.
So, yeah, I am always excited about conlings. So,
yeah, because that's the other thing is with the predators on this. We tend to hear like the clicking, and we hear like all the when they're mad they have the scream, like that blood curdling scream they have, but we've never actually heard them speak to other predators. Now we've gotten closer in some of the newer movies. We see more predators and kind of them looking at each other, and
dude, I watched the first one when it came out. I don't remember.
But that's where I'm kind of giving you guys the update. Like, in some of the newer movies, you have them where they'll look at each other and they'll kind of they'll look at each other and they kind of
Sir Predator.
Yeah, and they'll
Sir
kind of
Predator behind you.
Have an idea of like what's going on. No, there's like a buzzing.
Oh.
But then like we've never actually had them speak. And that's kind of like what I'm excited about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha. No, I think it's cool. Again, I'm here for any new conlings. So, and it sounds like it'll be interesting since there is kind of a clicking and whatever. It might be much more alien than
right
than even the Na'vi.
I do like that. They have an actual linguist coming in and creating this language, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So no, I'm always there. I probably I probably know who that is. Hold on.
Well, let's for now,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and move on here to the next story.
Creepy
That apparently
babies. Hey. Back
God, creepy baby.
Creepy Babies Boo just scored a new studio. Blumhouse is officially stepping into the Saw franchise, acquiring Twisted Pictures' share of the rights. This marks a major shift for the long-running horror series, especially since it brings James Wan back into the fold, the director who launched the franchise with the original Saw in 2004. At the moment, no new Saw film is officially in development, but this shakeup makes it inevitable that more Jigsaw mayhem is coming. The stalled Saw 11 project, once slated for September 20 of 25, was shelved due to creative disagreements between Lionsgate and producers despite Saw 10 pulling in 112 million globally. Blumhouse involvement means we might see a more grounded psychological horror approach, much like what they did with the Invisible Man, or who knows, maybe Jigsaw's traps get an extra layer of existential dread. We don't know. With Juan potentially closer to the property than he's been in years, the real question isn't if Saw will return, but how. So, does this mean Jigsaw is about to get his Blumhouse horror makeover, or will he keep things twisted in the classic Saw fashion?
It's gonna be interesting because I mean, like at this point, it's not the same franchise it was unless they're rebooting it, which we don't really need that. But I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the franchise itself. Now that it's coming to Blumhouse, who kind of they're more famous for allowing more creator creativity,
Right.
and like there's less like studio like, oh yeah, you have to do this. Like it's more like, hey, be creative, do what you got to do. And James Wan
Okay.
coming back to the franchise is kind of a big deal with that too.
Yeah. I have an idea though.
Mm-hmm.
Animate it. Do
Do
it like heavy animation, almost like it's like those old Sin City comics kind of thing. That kind of animation, and animate it. I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
They could be the untold stories of Saw.
I mean, if they go back and tell like some of the earlier stories, like I would prefer to see stories of like him when he was younger.
Yeah, I'm just saying animate it. Can
Yeah.
you imagine Jigsaw animated? Fire!
Yeah, and I don't want like an origin of like, oh, where did he become Jigsaw and start using the puppet and all that. Like I want to see, younger him and some of the because I mean he was obviously established by the first movie, so like kind
Yeah.
of those murders and in the way that he like just messed with people when he was younger kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
Let's
All right.
move on.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on here. Again, another story I'm excited for. My nerd nostalgia is jumping all over the place. Link's gonna need more time travel for this one because the Legend of Zelda live action movie has been pushed back, but only by a few weeks. Originally set for March 26, 2027, the new release date is now May 7th, 2027. According to Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto, the delay is purely for production reasons, ensuring the film is as good as it can be. Given how long fans have waited for this adaptation, a few extra weeks might be worth it. Director Wes Ball from Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes has promised to go to the ends of the earth to make this movie live up to its expectations. He's aiming for a live action Miyazaki feel, something whimsical yet serious and immersive. With Nintendo and Sony Pictures co-producing and Derek Connolly from Jurassic World writing the screenplay, the stakes are high. After the Super Mario Bros. Movie dominated the box office, Nintendo is betting big on Zelda's cinematic future. What do you guys think? Will this delay make the movie even better, or are you just ready to see Link on the big screen already? Because I am ready to see Link on the big screen. I mean, obviously, my name is searching for the Master Sword. Come on.
Again, I've already handed several of my nerd cards, and I'm going to hand another one in. I've never played a Zelda game,
Jesus
so
Christ.
well,
I blame Jen.
we were not a Nintendo household.
We weren't. We were not. We were an Xbox household.
Yes, and still mostly are.
I'll give you this, Shadu. By the time you were old enough to play a video game, consoles were already like, next gen.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like when it was like our age where all we had was Nintendo and we played Zelda because that's all we had and Zelda was amazing.
Yeah.
I never played The Legend of Zelda. What are you talking about?
So Phil, no, I know some things about it, which is why I was able to make the joke and the little thing here. But so no, I get to be cool. It is another iconic fantasy thing, so I'm always there.
That's the other thing is for a guy that is all about high fantasy, and I'm
not saying I don't want to play a Zelda game. I just haven't.
Like you've literally not you're all into high.
I would have to seek out a Nintendo console somewhere.
You can emulate most of those consoles, but I mean, even then, given that you haven't played the game that literally hinges on High Elf and High Valerian. Come on, man.
Well, really, he's not technically an elf.
He is an elf.
Oh, here we go.
Sure about that?
Yes, they are all elves. This entire world is supposed to take place in a land where it's basically like the land beyond where the elves are at.
Okay. Anyway,
Numenor?
Something like that.
That's not. No, that's Valinor, I think.
Valinor, yeah.
Anyway,
Numenor is where
speaking of fantasy, who needs a party when you can spend the night playing with yourself? In D&D.
Oh wait. I say but tis, but
there you go. And D&D, of course. Wizards of the Coast has teamed up with Giant Skull, a new studio led by God of War 3 and Star Wars Jedi director Stig Odmundson, to develop a single-player action-adventure game set in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. This marks Giant Skull's first major project and is being built in Unreal Engine 5. While there's no gameplay footage or concept art or anything yet, the game promises to be a narrative-driven, action-packed journey through a world filled with dragons, dungeons, and dice. You get the idea. No release date yet, but it's shaping up to be a fresh take on solo adventuring in the D&D universe. So, are you ready to embark on a legendary solo adventure, or do you still need a party to hold your hand?
Is this not?
I think that story just called us all out. That story called us out. Said, do we need to have our hands held? That story called us weak.
I think I think you could survive without Chuck's character.
Oh yeah, no, I totally could.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you. Yeah.
I'm like one shot and like bosses.
I mean,
and
yeah,
stuff.
you're
Doing
most
I could.
of the work.
Yeah.
I'm just Anyway,
I'm just saying that the story called us weak.
Yeah, I'm excited about this.
And I wrote it, and I didn't realize it. So I stand behind the words I wrote.
I'm excited about it. I think this will be fun. I wonder what they're going for. Yeah, I wonder, because there is pretty much all the really popular D&D like video games have been party based, and so I'm wondering what the idea is here. Is it still
maybe like a Dragon Age?
Yeah, something like an Elder Scrolls thing or something. Would be interesting.
Yeah.
Sewong has the best answer ever right here. Says, will they add cutaways to people sitting around the table arguing and rolling dice? Yes.
I mean that is pretty much what D&D is. So
yeah, I know. So just to kind of jump back, so I've been proven wrong by both Shadu and Sewong.
Yeah, I saw Sewong there.
So not just that, I had to look it up, and it says specifically they are humans, but they are elf-like.
Oh, look at that! People doing their homework.
Yeah.
Well, really. So No, anyway, so anyway, I think it'll be interesting. So anyway, I'm wondering if they're going. I keep saying so anyway. So anyway, they keep going. Are they going to keep
Write that
doing
down.
a?
That's his joke.
Are they going to keep doing a strategy RPG kind of thing like they did with Baldur's Gate, or is it going to be like a first-person thing? Is it going to be like Dragon Age? So I'm curious. I'm interested because before Baldur's Gate, we didn't really have a lot of very good, more modern D&D games, and so I'm wondering what they're going for. So I'm excited. We'll see.
All right.
I think we'll buy it. I want to play it.
I mean,
I'll
I'm
buy it,
definitely
yeah.
probably going to play it once it comes out.
Me-
Well, I definitely want to see it first because I'm sitting here
Mhm.
saying like I'm going to buy it. We're going to buy it, and then
It
it's
could
like
be
kind of
shit.
like, it could
Yeah.
be because that's the other thing is like Neverwinter exists.
Right.
Not the greatest.
That is true.
Like
Yeah.
Neverwinter exists. Not the greatest game. Baldur's Gate 3, probably one of the best games ever made. So I mean, like just-
Exactly.
Right.
there are games that live
It's a
within the D&D.
crapshoot.
Mixed bag. Yeah.
There are games that live within the D&D universe. Now, this is not the first solo quest game in the D&D universe at this
No.
point, because like they're making it seem like, oh yeah, it's the first time we're doing a solo game. No,
Yeah.
literally, I just named two of them: Neverwinter and
You know
and Baldur's
what?
Gate 3.
But you know what? Never mind. It's too dirty. I can't say it now.
But I think
Yeah.
I
It's
think
too
what they're
bad.
doing, they're emphasizing because with Baldur's Gate and I think with are you talking about the MMO or are you talking about like Neverwinter Nights?
There was two different games, so there was the MMO.
That's what I'm
and then there
saying. There's the
yeah.
MMO and there's Neverwinter. Anyway, I think all of those include a party with you. I think they're saying this is just a solo thing. You're not going to have a party.
Oh, so
It's
basically,
just-
it's like The Witcher, but
That's what I'm saying.
like
It's like
D&D.
it's like The Witcher, it's like Skyrim, or it's like I guess Dragon Age has a party. But yeah, it's like, Skyrim or The Witcher or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
I'm not as excited about it.
I'm more
then.
excited about it. But
It'll be fun to kind of see, like okay, if you pick Bard, can you like sing your way out of a
can you just
situation?
charm your right?
Right.
Exactly. It's good.
All
right.
Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to this next story here. Let me put that on screen and boom. George, you're the problem. It's you. He really is. George, you're the problem. It's you. George R.R. Martin is not thrilled about screenwriters taking creative liberties with adaptations. During a recent event with fellow fantasy author Joe Abercrombie,
That is not a real name.
Joe Abercrombie and his buddy Mike Fitch, Martin voiced his frustration, saying that while nobody got that joke, saying that
I got
while film and TV are inherently collaborative, the real challenge comes from writers adapting his work and making it their own. He specifically called out the industry's tendency to rewrite stories instead of faithfully adapting them, using The Great Gatsby as an example. I don't want anyone to make The Great Gatsby their own.
I have some thoughts about that.
Martin has previously expressed concerns about HBO's House of the Dragon deviating from his book Fire and Blood, warning that bigger changes could be coming in season 3 and 4. It's a familiar struggle. Authors build intricate worlds only to see them reshaped when Hollywood gets involved. Martin's stance: adaptation is fine, but rewriting for the sake of change isn't collaboration, it's dilution. What do you guys think? Should adaptations stick closer to the source material, or is reinventing part of the process? I also have thoughts on this.
Yeah.
That's why it's in the download. 'cause
Exactly.
it's
Yes.
a
These are the
big
two stories
thoughty
we're gonna
thought
have.
thing.
So,
Right.
Shadu, give us your thoughts.
Okay. Well, first of all, the Leonardo DiCaprio Great Gatsby movie, which I assume he's talking about, it's pretty good actually, and I read the book first. And it's one of my favorite books.
I own the book. Like, where's
Yeah, it's one. I had to read it for school, and I actually enjoyed it. So, yeah. See, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought it was better than the original adaptation.
Oh, the
maybe
original
more.
adaptation was terrible, but
Oh,
I mean
so
that also, and then there's like 3 or 4 adaptations before that, but that also lends itself to actually proving his point.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, sure, but I don't know. I feel like it is hard. Then basically, what he's wanting is he's wanting everything to be a series. essentially. Because I think a lot of the problems with adaptations come with trying to compress and kind of trim the fat of a story that's not going to fit into a 2-hour movie. So,
Yeah, that's true.
you know, I was saying, I mean, yeah, I mean, we were talking about Harry Potter. That's the same kind of situation where you have, yeah, again, it's like there's so much stuff from the book they weren't able to put in there because it was a movie, it wasn't a series, it was whatever. So that too, but also George, which is why the intro is George, you're the problem, it's you. If you had finished your series, they wouldn't have had to go on their own and make it their own for the last few seasons of Game of Thrones.
That yeah. Part of the, I mean, there's multiple things going on there because like as they're pushing for the series to get done, he's still involved in it. It's stopping him from finishing the book itself. Now,
yeah, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's an argument there. Yeah, I don't know. That is, I see his point as an author, as a writer. I understand where he's going, but I'm also a filmmaker. I understand what's going on here. It's a hard thing to do, and I don't envy anyone trying to do it. But you know, it's less about trying to make it your own. It's more about what to emphasize in such a short period of time. But anyway, there's a whole longer discussion. There's an entire podcast about this somewhere.
Yeah, there were like a series of podcasts. You could talk about this for a really long time.
Adaptation. And so,
yeah,
I just think be careful if you're going to adapt something. But we also need more, just in general, we need more original stories that are not necessarily from, this is from a book. Oh, we're remaking this thing for the 50,000th time. It's like, no, make your own stories. So.
No, so I agree. Now here's my take, because I mostly agree, and for years I've agreed with kind of this take that George R.R. Martin has. There's a reason that people enjoy the book or the comic book or whatever it is that they're adapting, right? My issue with what Hollywood does is they go and take something that people already love and then go and completely change it, because it's like, well, this is what I would do if it were what I wanted to do.
Right, that's not really, yeah.
My examples here, X-Men is a perfect example.
Oh yeah,
because I've always looked at the X-Men movies as, okay, here is a series of movies that really just are movies about mutants that kind of share the names of characters from the comic books, because they never really, you know, look at the way that they did the Phoenix. Is like, oh, we want to focus on this, so we're going to change every aspect about this character. Another example of something that they did not need to do, that they decided to do because they wanted to make more money, Warner Brothers, when they made the fucking Hobbit movies.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the opposite. They needed to create more shit because they wanted to stretch out a movie's worth, or maybe 2 movies. Something that could have been 2 movies, or, you know, technically everything could have fit into 1 movie. They wanted to stretch it out into 3 movies, into a trilogy, because they wanted to get as much money as they could out of it. And it ended up not being good because there were things that they changed in that from the book to the movies that didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
You know, Azog was not he was not the character that in the movies that he was in the books.
Yeah.
And honestly, they didn't need to change it. They could have went off the source material. Probably would have made better movies out of them. And you maybe could have gotten, you probably could have stretched 2 movies out of it, adding in like the ties to Lord of the Rings because they wanted to do that. But at the same time, again, the whole Legolas story doesn't exist in the book.
No.
Right.
And as I've said before, The Hobbit is my favorite Lord of the Rings book.
Right.
And I have not watched the movies yet because I'm like, no, I don't want to see it ruined.
The thing is that you do get a little bit of expansion stuff. Like they do take a little bit from the Silmarillion and put it in there. So there's like a couple of things
Sure.
where it's good, but they also do add in a whole bunch of shit that is just unnecessary. So I mean,
Right.
like it's things, and a lot of it was Peter Jackson like trying to find ways to stretch the movies out because Warner Brothers was like, no, we don't want to do one movie. This needs to be a trilogy.
Right. And that's hot take. But the I feel like with books, and I don't know this for certain. I'm sure people write books for different reasons, but I I feel like with a book, there's not as much of a financial incentive. Whereas with a movie, there's a lot of pressure to be like, we gotta make a bunch of money on this. We gotta, milk as much as we can out of this.
But the thing is I understand that, but
Yeah.
if you're trying to get the most money out of it, why alienate the people who made it popular in the first place?
Because they don't know what they're doing.
But that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
my issue with Hollywood.
I agree.
Right?
I agree
issue-
then. Yes, I
my
completely
issue-
agree. I was adding it, yeah.
And that's what George R. R. Martin is complaining about is you don't need to take a property that people already enjoy and that has already been massively successful in the way that it is and completely change everything about it because some executive at Hollywood was like, I think this would be better. No.
Yeah, no, that's bullshit.
Yeah, your fucking ideas are not helping anybody.
Yeah.
They're helping your own ego in order to make something that you want to make, but it's like at the same time you don't need to change what was already done. You know
Right,
what I
and
mean?
that's- Sorry. That's kind of what I was trying to say. It's like, make your own original thing. If you want to do something, go off and do it.
Right.
You don't
Now-
need to slap, fucking Starship Troopers on it or something.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's a bad example. But
No. That has been done. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
or Hellraiser, like where you
Right.
like, oh, okay, or what's the
Oh,
series
boy.
that's doing it right now?
Wheel of Time?
Sure, to a certain degree.
No. That's the only one that's happened, and they did veer off quite.
They
a
did
bit.
veer
Right.
off.
Right. Well,
But
where
you weren't talking about that. You were talking about Hellboy, weren't you?
No, Hellraiser.
Oh, okay.
Because the Hellraiser series, like people they would make movies and then they would say, oh, you know how we can milk this and make it into like a bigger franchise? Let's just tack on a scene with Pinhead in it, and we're gonna call this a Hellraiser movie. And the entire movie had nothing had anything to do with Hellraiser. Cloverfield is doing that right now too, where it's just a random movie that has nothing to do with the original premise of the first movie, but they're just tacking on Cloverfield and saying, "Oh no, but it's part of the universe," right?
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of things, like you don't need to do that shit. Like make it its own thing. That movie in itself, like Cloverfield, whatever the second movie, that movie was good on its own. Did not need to be part of the Cloverfield universe of fucking shit, right? Like I agree with make your own thing and make that its own property. You don't need to attach it to another property to make more money. Now, my exception to this rule is the way Marvel is handling things, because the way Marvel is handling their movies is they are essentially treating it as, hey, this is a new, or it's almost like this could be its own comic series. Like these movies are their own comic universe. Like this could be written as its own comic rebranding, and that universe lives contained in itself, where you're updating origin stories, you're updating the stories, so then that way it's more appealing to a modern audience.
Yeah.
And I'm
it's
okay
like
with
Elseworlds.
Yeah, well, exactly, because they're not changing the core of the characters. Right. And when I do complain about Marvel, it's when they deviate from what the core character is.
Right. And I think that's comic books are almost a different situation.
But I mean, like,
in a way, because they lend themselves to that kind of thing.
But like, it's the same thing with movies, where a lot of times in these movies you are changing the core character or what people love about it, in order to like what they think they're doing is trying to appeal to a broader audience when they're not. Star
Yeah.
Wars is a good example of that. They tried to appeal to a broader audience and it fucking failed.
Yeah. Yeah.
The concept of it failed. Like,
Right.
I just want to say one thing.
Please. I'm sorry, we haven't let you talk.
George is being a whiny little bitch because
Yep.
he's had a couple of bad experiences. I would say for the most part, most people know what they're doing, like actually love the source material to a point where they want to do it justice within the means of what they have available. So I do think that there is some give and take, and for him to just, get on his high horse about this when he has some other kind of writing to do, like, if you're going to type some stuff out, why don't you type some stuff out for Winds of Winter?
yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
just think
yeah.
I think that generally the creatives probably have somewhat pure intentions. I think it's just studio fuckery is the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's it. I think we
Yeah.
can
If
all
you guys
agree
had
that's the
watched the
problem here.
franchise TV series, you would understand, but whatever.
Yeah, last example I'm going to give, because we do have to move on to this last
Yes,
story.
we
But
do.
the last example I'm going to give is how the give and the take and the hatred and love that Zack Snyder gets.
Yes.
Mm.
And the thing is that if you look at what Zack Snyder's intention was and what he was going for and what he wanted to do, the story laid out was beautiful. The problem is Warner Brothers got involved and said, we don't think this is gonna be good enough, and we're gonna change everything. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago about how Batman v Superman originally was two different movies, because it was supposed to be Dawn of Justice and then Batman v Superman, and they didn't like the ideas that he was putting forth, so they made him mash those two movies together, and we got Batman v Superman, and it was not as good as it could have been.
No.
It was
And
the best introduction of Wonder Woman.
I mean, it was a cool introduction to Wonder Woman, but the thing is it was supposed to be a 5-movie arc. And even then, again, Justice League ended up being the third movie. It was supposed to be the fourth movie. Justice League, the extended version, was far superior to the Justice League version that we got.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially when Wonder Woman beheaded Steppenwolf.
That's cool, but her opening scene was different from the way Joss Whedon did it.
Oh, yeah.
And that opening scene was way cooler than the way Joss Whedon did it. So I mean, like, a lot of those things, right? Everybody, and then you have a whole segment of people who blame Zack Snyder for how horrible that went, when it was really the studios that were, specifically Warner Brothers, was the problem with what that happened. We don't think this is going to make money, so we want to change everything.
Right, exactly.
We don't like what Zack Snyder's doing. We're going to get Joss Whedon in here to do it. And it's like,
okay, so I do have something to say about that.
Yeah.
But I didn't like Zack Snyder's take on the characters, so there. The only one I really liked was Wonder Woman. I thought that was a really great thing, and I feel like he didn't have hardly anything to do with it. And Aquaman. That was it. I mean, I liked all of the movies. They were fine. I didn't like his versions of Superman or Batman, although I do think that Ben Affleck did a really amazing job playing that Batman. I didn't see his vision for that.
But
and
again, we didn't get
it imploded. So
we didn't get the full vision, though, because what ended up happening was Warner Brothers stepped in and changed a bunch of shit from the beginning. Like, again, where everything went off the rails 100% was Batman v Superman, and that was supposed to be two different movies that had a lot more character development in it that they took away.
Right.
So
yeah,
exactly. He never got a chance. Really.
He didn't get a chance, because from the beginning Warner Brothers was changing things and messing with things, and they've been doing that, because again, the Batgirl movie got destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
Before we even watch it. Warner Brothers is the problem.
Yep.
Again,
there is blame for all.
And that is the moral of the story. So Warner Brothers is the problem.
So we're going to jump into another story that is also going to grind my gears here. So
Yep.
let's get into this next story here.
Let's get
Family Guy
ready
Club.
to rumble. No,
You know what really grinds my gear?
you're right.
You know what really
Heartbreak.
grinds my gears? All right, go ahead.
Fred?
Heartbreak feels good in a place like this. AMC Theaters is adding more ads before movies start. Beginning July 1st, the new Platinum Spot ad will play right before the film begins, ensuring audiences won't miss it. AMC was initially reluctant to adopt this model, but with Regal and Cinemark already doing it for years, they've decided to follow suit. The move is aimed at generating vital revenue, especially after the pandemic's impact on the industry. While AMC argues that this won't affect attendance, moviegoers might feel differently. The company already acknowledges that movies don't start at their listed showtime, with about 20 minutes of pre-show material before the feature begins. Now that pre-show is getting even longer. On the bright side, AMC is bringing back Discount Wednesdays, which could help draw audiences back. But will more ads push people to skip the theater altogether? So, what do you guys think? Does this make the moviegoer experience better or worse, or somehow?
Phil, I for some reason feel like you have a lot of thoughts here. So,
my thoughts on all of this is everything is going to ad driven. Everything. The entire streaming industry is this now. And the whole point of cutting the wire and going to streaming services was, one, it was supposed to be cheaper, which it's not anymore. Two, it was to get away from ads. And now the only way you can afford it is if you get the ad versions of it. So now movies are starting to become that, where you went to the movies to watch a film and not have to deal with all the ads and shit that you deal with on TV. Well, now you got to deal with all that. Now you have to go to the theater, and now you have to deal with ads. And it's like, that is everything about about just the film industry is becoming that, and it is annoying as all fucking hell.
yeah.
I agree. I'm
Yeah.
totally agreement with this.
As do I.
You already charge us ridiculous amounts for concessions. You already are raising prices on movies. So now, not only do I have to pay more just to go see a film that used to be something where that was cheap and easy to do, well, now it's expensive, and it's like you have to plan a whole entire night around that. Well, now I got to deal with all the fucking ads on top of that. So, okay, it's like Netflix, where I have to pay $27. I don't pay that tier, but I mean, like, you have to pay $27 for something that has HD, but also has to have ads in between stuff.
Yeah.
Now I don't pay that tier because I can't afford that tier anymore. But I mean, I remember when Netflix was $10 a month and you got everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
But somehow, yeah. But somehow I guess it's got to be more profitable or something. I don't know. I can't imagine it would be. But
every industry, every single industry is not around how do you take care of the customer? How do you take care of the people who work for the company? It is, how do you take care of the investors?
Yeah.
That is a major problem with everything in this world. Is the focus is on how do you give rich people who invest in this company money back so they can be more rich? I become more and more disillusioned by the world every day because of this stuff. It just, again, it really starts to get at my psyche.
Yeah.
When everything in the world is revolving around how do you make rich people more rich?
Mm-hmm. Well, before we get dangerously political,
no. I'm not going to go into that. Like, it's rather than taking care of the people who you should be taking care of, which is the customer.
Yes.
You should be focusing on
very much
enticing us to come and see more movies.
Yes.
leave our houses. I absolutely agree. And you know what else I agree about? That we got merch, people.
That's right. We got merch, people.
Because now we're gonna do an ad.
And now we're going to ads because yeah. But I mean,
But our ads are better.
our ads are definitely better. Our ads aren't. We're not giving rich people money.